Hey heroes, cosplayers, and pop culture fans, are you ready to assemble for the ultimate geek weekend? The Hall of Heroes Comic-Con is invading Elkhart, Indiana with 2 explosive days of comics, stars, and non-stop fun. Join us Saturday, May 30th and Sunday, May 31st, 2026 at the Northern Indiana Event Center in Elkhart. Doors open at 10 a.m. both days. VIP early entry at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. We're rolling out a massive lineup of legends. Meet Eric Estrada from Chips and Fallout, Dirk Benedict from the A-Team and Battlestar Galactica, Tara Reid from American Pie and Sharknado, Catherine Cavadini, voice of Blossom from the Powerpuff Girls, Kel Mitchell from All That, Kevin and Kel and Mystery Men, horror icon Tony Moran, the original Michael Myers in Halloween, and more. Plus, top comic artists including Arthur Sidem, Marvel Zombies and Deadpool, John Kramer from Batman and Wonder Woman, Keith Pollard, a legendary Marvel artist on Spider-Man and Thor, and more. Scott Rosama, Stuart Sager, and others. Get autographs, photo ops, and chats with the stars and creators who shaped your favorites. The floor is packed with over 150 vendors, artists, and cosplayers offering exclusive comics, collectibles, original art, and merch. Enjoy cosplay contests for kids and adults with great prizes, live Q&A panels, artist showcases, interactive zones, and family-friendly fun all weekend. And the excitement goes live. Madness Entertainment Group is broadcasting straight from the con floor all weekend on YouTube, Build, and Rumble. Catch every moment as it happens, then relive it anytime with the full shows available later on Med TV on Roku. Grab your tickets today at hohcomiccon.org. Hall of Heroes Comic-Con, May 30th and 31st, 2026, Northern Indiana Event Center, Elkhart, Indiana. We'll see you there, heroes. This ad was created by Nim on behalf of Madness Entertainment Group and Hall of Heroes Comic-Con.
Hey everyone, you know on that commercial for the Hall of Heroes, or the convention that's coming up, I love it when the announcer calls him Keith Pollard. like he's some sort of English lord. And now Lord Pollard will entertain us by drawing an issue of the Fantastic Four. Hi everybody, welcome to Wednesday Wham. I'm your guest host, Tom Mason. I'm usually here on Sundays, and we're joined tonight by, we'll go around the clock, by Mr. Rob Davis, a regular Wednesday Whammer. Good to see you, Rob. And then we're also joined by, we'll keep going in that direction, Javier Lugo. Hi, Javier. Welcome.
Thank you, Tom.
Up above, Jose Fuentes.
Hi, everybody.
Sitting in with just another pretty face from Tuesday. In the top center is the regular host, Bob Kalberg.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, bene. That's awesome. And then next to her is David Rios, another regular Tuesday.
Hello.
He's wearing his Tuesday hat and his Tuesday earphones.
Right, exactly.
And then there's me. And so welcome. Tonight we're going to be talking about the 6 things comic book creators need to know about the industry. And we may go insane. So, but first up, Silverline has a big crowdfunder running at least through July, I believe. And Barb has all the details. So Barb, lay it out.
Yep. We are running, a lot of people know that bankruptcy for Diamond really threw a monkey wrench into a lot of things in the industry, and Silverline was no different. We were fortunate; we hung on, but we did take a hit. So we decided to run a crowdfunder to recoup some of our losses, and we basically just are having a garage sale. It's a 90-day garage sale where we're just throwing everything in the kitchen sink in, and it's all available. We've got 3-issue series, we've got 4-issue series, we've got mystery bags, and no, those are not porn.
Even though mystery bag was my nickname in college.
Yes, I'm sure. Even though they're in plain paper sacks, it's not porn. We have unclaimed freight. We have exclusive Kickstarter stock. We have overstock foil exclusive covers. We have Daytona Beach Comic Con exclusives. We have commissions, and our own Rob Davis is one of the people who is offering commissions. Thomas Floramonti, and I see we have a Floramonti flyby in the.
We do indeed.
We do indeed, yes. And sketch covers, T-shirts. I was actually the very first person to pledge to this crowdfunder because I had my eye on a T-shirt I wanted, and I wanted to get it before anybody else did. And original art. We have so much original art, in fact, that we had to put a link where it says original. To Flickr, because we couldn't get all of the art on the page. So if you want to take a look, and since it's running for 90 days, what is all that noise in the background?
It's my false teeth.
No. Since it's going for 90 days, and there are things that we couldn't even get on the screen, we are replacing stuff that sells out,
Right.
and replacing it with new stuff. So it's a crowdfunder that you're going to want to check back often on, because we'll be posting new items as we go.
Especially the art, because there's covers, there's interior pages, there's all kinds of great stuff. Oh,
Yep.
Mr. Floramonti doing his
Yep.
drive-by.
Yep, Floramonti flyby. I'll just watch and make rude comments. So
Yeah, how's that different
What's
from
new?
any other Wednesday?
Yeah, really.
So same old,
It's
same
another
old.
Wednesday.
same old. And JL Lugo Art says, hello, everyone. Feel free to voice any questions in the chat. We would love to answer them. Oh,
I
that's
wouldn't, but the other
Javier.
people will.
Javier.
That's Javier.
Javier
Okay.
sneaking in with chat.
He's in the
I
chat.
got
Yeah.
multitask tonight, y'all.
He's a ringer.
So please take a look at the crowdfunder. We've got a while yet to go, and we've got a lot of fantastic things. It's just a mulligan stew of goodness. So take a peek.
Think of it as a summer spectacular.
Right?
Absolutely.
If you've missed issues, you can catch up. If you want to get all 4 issues of the miniseries, they're all right there. And so, anyway,
Okay, over to Tom.
thank you, Barb.
Mhm.
So tonight's topic is 6 things comic creators need to know about the industry. This is built on a panel discussion that Dave Obrich uses at San Diego and WonderCon on occasion. And it always gets a really good response because everybody has, they're basically warning signs. They're all the red flags that people don't know when they think, oh, this is great. I'm going to draw Spider-Man. I'm going to write Batman. And then they realize, oh, wait, I'm drawing Spider-Man and I'm writing Batman. And so, so we're going to keep it. He usually does 10 at the panel, but we're going to keep it to 6 because we have 6 people and only an hour. So we'll see how well we do. Does anybody want to go first with anything besides me? And then I will criticize you.
It's 16 comic creators need to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I got one. Yes.
Yes, Javier.
How to hold a pencil.
That's 6.5.
That's Eric Larson.
I've seen Eric Larson hold a pencil like a pterodactyl. And I don't know how he gets great art out of that, but he does.
Dude, I've seen him do it at a show. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen.
Like he holds his pencil like this.
Yeah.
And just watching him at a convention
like
do it,
that.
you just no, like
No,
this.
it's
Like on the
Oh,
paper,
like-
like this.
yeah.
So he's
Like
literally
that.
doing chicken
He's holding it
scratches.
with like his back
Well,
finger.
T-Rex hand.
But I've seen people do it like this, and just or like
My
that.
mommy told me to hold a pencil like this.
Because most
Yeah.
people start drawing when they're little, and that's how they end up holding the
Well,
pencil. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you start out with those big crayons, and
Right.
That's how you start drawing.
Unless
Yeah.
you're left-handed like my son, and he's like upside down. I
Right?
don't understand how
Well, yeah.
that works.
Yeah.
Well, because you have to avoid smearing because of the way
Yeah.
you draw.
Mhm.
You,
Yep.
I don't know how people who are left-handed do it.
That's how he
because-
writes, though. He writes
Yeah. How's his penmanship though?
sucks.
Does it really? Almost every lefty I know actually has really nice penmanship because they have to like make sure the letters because they're breaking.
Because they disappear underneath their hand.
Right.
All right, I'll throw one out there.
Yeah.
Learn to take criticism.
Ooh.
Develop a thick
terrible.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a biggie because I mean you can go in, and I learned this the hard way. You can go in and show your portfolio, and you can just get shredded. This is the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. You know, where did you learn to draw? Or a really good one. Wow, you ink like a man.
Oh wait, someone said you ink like a man?
Yes, that was in the
I've heard
that
that
was
That's
in
horrible.
I've heard
I'm
that
that
was
sorry
story
for laughing
before,
but it's funny and it's also horrible.
that was
Yeah.
in the DC offices.
There's gender to inking.
But
Do I ink like a man?
Inking gender.
anyway, you gotta develop a thick skin. It's not personal, okay? Unless you've done something to really wrong somebody. I mean, you know, stepping out with their wife or something like that. This is not personal. They are
Right.
giving their honest opinion. Their opinion may be their opinion, not necessarily all truth, but they're the ones that are hiring. They're the ones that are looking at your work, and they have seen thousands of pages of
And
one
they're
of these.
busy.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you. It's not school. They're not going to give you an
Right.
hour of their time. It's basically quick impressions for like 5 or 10 minutes,
Mhm.
and you got to take it or leave it. And I would add that if you're getting the same criticism from different people,
Yeah.
then you should really take that to heart and sort of temper your feelings about your work.
Right.
Yeah.
When
I learned in art school to really appreciate a rough critique and like
Mhm.
take it with the grain of salt, because my teacher Fernando you'd throw pages, I'd be like, and you consider this professional work? And like, yes. It's like, okay.
Did your voice crack like that?
Yeah, a little bit. But man,
I-
like, I mean,
I would take my critiques and I would take them to heart, but there would be one or two comments that I'm like, well, that's bullshit, and I'd ignore it. But I would take in the rest,
right.
and then I would go on to the next person. And you are right. If more than one person is saying the same thing,
Right.
and then I would
Yeah.
go home and I would practice some more, and then I would come back and get ripped apart again,
Yeah,
and again, and again.
because
I've seen people get upset at their critique.
Yep.
And it
Until
wasn't even bad. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like a bad critique, but like oh, that's like they don't know what they're talking about. I was like, I'm pretty sure they do. Like they've been doing it for a minute. I'm pretty sure.
in many ways, it's a job interview,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right?
and you're not ready yet.
Right. And if you're going to
So-
do anything in the entertainment industry, I'm talking music, books, TV, movies, comic books as part of the entertainment industry, you
Mhm.
need to develop a rhino skin, because you're going to
Yep.
you're going to get hate mail. You're going to hate
Also,
people hate on you.
Turtle shell.
Also, the way the world works now, when you do get published, online people are going to come after you. So
Yeah,
even
'cause
if you're
Yeah.
even after
There's
you're
trolls.
a professional, even after you're
There's
getting paid for
trolls
your
out
work, and
there.
even after you're working regularly, the online people are going to give you their 2 cents.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
They're anonymous behind their screens.
Trolls.
So
So you
Trolls.
work,
Yep.
you work to break in, you get a regular gig, and you're really happy. Your editor loves the work, the publisher loves your work, you're getting paid, and then all of a sudden the first issue comes out, and the online community just, that's not Batman. That's not
Right.
That's not
Listen,
Superman.
I
that's
used to
not
talk
Spider-Man.
smack about Rob Liefeld's art. Like, I mean, I'll be honest. I was like, dude, that is garbage. Like, come on, man. But then I saw an interview or interview he did when they were saying, how do you feel about everyone people talking trash about your work and stuff? He goes, well, people are going to have their own opinions and they're going to like it. They're not going to like it, but they're still talking about me.
that's true.
Yeah.
So anyway,
After that, I'm like, oh man.
I think that's a great one.
if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Right.
Yes. Hey, Atros Doc says he notices that I'm here on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hey, Atros, welcome. So I think one thing that creators should know is that is to read their contract, read the paperwork, because the contract.
It's mine was going to be. This is a business. Remember that
Go with
it's
that.
a business.
Yeah.
It's so you need to learn how to be professional. You need to figure out some way to part of that being professional is looking at your contract and understanding it. And if you don't, get yourself a lawyer so you can.
Right.
So you know what the company owes you and what you owe the company. That's what's in the contract.
I think, like for contracts, like if you're just drawing an issue of Spider-Man or an issue of Batman, or writing one, that the contract is a boilerplate. There is no
generally.
You want to understand it, but you're not going to be able to change it necessarily.
Right.
It's just going to be, here's the page rate, here's when you get paid, these are the terms, here's how many free copies you get, and that's it. You don't have any ownership rights. You just so
if you don't like it, don't take the job.
Where it gets trickier is if it's a creator contract.
Yeah.
Or a property that you own outright, or that you share ownership with your fellow creators, and then you want to make sure that thing has been read to death, because the thing is, a contract is only good for two things, which is to tell you what's going to happen or what should happen, and then as sort of disaster insurance. This is what happens when it all turns to crap. These are your avenues.
Yeah, most of the time people don't care about a contract until things go sour, and that's when everybody goes back to the contract. So
right, and then you go to the $300 an hour lawyer, and he says, "Did you even read this?" Because you're screwed.
Yeah,
admit nothing, deny everything, demand proof.
So now I wonder what other comic creation aspects are gender.
Right.
Yes.
That is a whole another podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
We could spend an entire
That's a good question,
hour.
though. We should. Barb, you're the regular Wednesday Whammer, so you ought to write that down.
Gender.
Well, she's going to
and
be gone for how many weeks? Are you going to be gone?
I leave Sunday for 2 weeks to Europe.
Are you going on vacation?
Europe.
Where?
We're starting in Ireland and then working our way through England, France. We're going to overnight in Zurich, Switzerland, and end up in Italy.
You gonna say hi to Pete?
Oh yeah, I don't think I'm going to have time to, because we got to get up like at 6 a.m. to get on a bus so we can go to Stonehenge and Bath and Windsor Castle and all that stuff. But I'd like to. That would be fun.
Right?
Stonehenge is great, but there is nothing around it.
Yeah.
There's nothing around.
No, there's no. I mean, there's no services. There's no. It's just you're driving along the freeway like you're driving between Ohio and Wisconsin, and then all of a sudden, instead of a Stuckey's, there's a Stonehenge.
That's good to know.
But it's really impressive.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time, other than Canada, this is the first time we'll have been out of the United States. So
that's cool. Last year we did London, Cyprus, and Greece.
Oh, I want to go back. I'm sure, because I mean we're hitting half of our heritage. I'm half English. Dick is half Irish, but so we're going to have to go back and do the Swedish and Dutch part of it at some point. And I want to see folks in Scotland too that I know from Dark Horse. David Scroggy.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, have a great trip.
Right.
Yeah.
I told my wife I want to be the first Hispanic to join the IRA.
Yeah. So you guys are on your own for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. We'll have to wing it without the Empress of Inks.
So,
right.
Jose, you went to the Kubert School, right?
I sure did. So
when you got there, what did you learn about comics that you didn't know?
I learned I wasn't good at it. Okay, so I say that, but I should preface too. It's broken. The school is broken into 3 years, right? The first year is to break you down. It's to break down any bad habits you may have developed on your
the
own.
Military,
right? It is, yeah.
Year 2 is to teach you the correct habits upon which not that there's a perfect and all be all way to make comics, but proper habits when it comes to even like colors, inks, whatever, right? Third year is having you implement what you've learned. Okay, so with that said, yeah, I learned I didn't know a lot. But the one thing, funny enough, I didn't realize was a problem for me was perspective. Like I thought I understood it until it started getting broke down into like 2-point perspective, 5-point perspective, 1-point perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know anything. Like what the heck?
Yeah.
So I mean, I've gotten better, a little better since then. But
Well, as visual artists, unlike calculus, we're going to use perspective in
Right.
most of the things that we do. I mean, if nothing else, a letter has to keep it straight, right?
Geometry is your
So-
friend.
dude, yeah, like that was an interesting lesson from my teachers to know about where things are placed on your perspective grid.
Because you don't think about math as a comic book
You don't.
artist until you have to.
And then you hear from Andy Kubert, it's like, oh, this is Andy perspective. Like if you try and line it up, it's not gonna make sense. It's wonky. I'm like, oh,
Whoa.
that's a thing.
Try inking Carmine Infantino.
Ooh,
That
name
man-
dropping. Mhm.
Didn't know the word perspective.
That's why
He
Joe
just-
Giella drank.
Right.
I had a mentor.
I have that
His
book.
name was John Nyberg, who had inked Carmine. And when I went to ink Carmine, I called him. I was in tears. I said, nothing lines up. Nothing. There's all the perspective. I can't redraw every single panel. He goes,
Yes.
yeah, just ink what's there, he said. Because
Yeah.
it comes out looking okay. It makes sense in
In the end,
in the end, it makes sense, but yeah, don't
We'll
even
fix
try
it
to
in
make
post.
I will fix it. But I mean, really, it's just other than that, like throughout the whole thing, the business of comics, you know what I mean? I've learned a lot from Roland just in explaining things when I ask, like, because I ask a ton of questions. You know what I mean? When we're at a show together, like, Roland, why did you do this? Like, what was the thought for this, right? And he'll explain it to me. But even that, like the business part of it, I was like, I have to talk to people on the regular.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like so what I learned a
you got to
lot.
learn how to sell yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I've never been that good at, but I mean, I've gotten better, and it helps when, like I said, Roland has been there at conventions with me to, to push people to me. It's like, oh, now I got to talk about myself.
Learn
It's-
to keep yourself out.
It's
It's also not so much learning to talk about yourself as learning how to be personable, because
Right.
Yeah.
you're going to be working with these same people for 3 months, 6 months, a year on a project.
right.
You want to be somebody that people want to be in a room with, even if it's a metaphorical room.
Right.
And
And
so
communicate.
it's, if
Rob
you're
also, Rob
if you
also
have a
mentions
drippy sort of
professionalism.
gothic
before.
personality and are a real
Yeah.
downer,
That's
it's like, no.
part of that professional.
And don't be
Professionalism I was
stomping on
talking
anybody on the way up, because they may be your boss on the way down.
Right.
Yeah, it happens.
Then
Yeah.
Mike Chen, he worked in the office, but he substituted for us several times. And when he subbed for us, like when he would critique our pages and everything, he always gave us I guess a skill grade and a professionalism grade.
Okay.
So where were we on like a list of like skill, like work, where we need to improve, right? And then how is our work? Is it look professional? My figures may not look perfect. They may not look like Spider-Man or Batman, but is it professional? Is it clean? Are my lines clean? You know what I mean? That's a whole different grade that he gave. And I was like, what? Why do we have that? It's like professionalism is as important as anything else.
You
Yes.
betcha. You betcha.
No schmutz on the page.
Yeah, and there's another story. I was getting pages late from a penciler for ages, and I finally called him up and says, "Where are my pages? I need to make deadline," because that was one of the things that I was known for, was always making deadlines. And he goes, I'm just not feeling the art today. I'm like, I don't care if you're feeling the art. Pencil it. This is a business. You can't
Yeah,
make money if you're not.
That's part of what I
You're
meant
not-
when I said
You're
professionalism.
not a French painter from the Renaissance who can just
No. This
paint
is a
whenever.
business.
You gotta. That's what that goes to Rob's thing about it's a business.
Right.
You're slowed down, and you're slowing down me
that's-
and the colorist and the letterer and everything else is behind you.
That's the thing too. If you're an artist, you sort of have to figure out, all right, I got to draw 22 to 24 pages a month. If I don't want to work weekends, that's basically 21 days, 22 days in a month to do the work. So that's basically I got to do a page a day. So how fast can I do a page so that I don't kill myself? And that's, I've met people who were like, I worked on these four. I worked on this 4-page sample for like a year. It's like, no.
Okay, you could.
No.
That's fine.
Right,
Yeah,
Jeff?
but
Jeff Whiting makes a valid
they're not
point.
gonna
Hey,
make
Jeff,
no deadlines.
I feel like paying my mortgage this month. Yes, that's
Right.
correct.
I love
That's
Jeff.
right. Thomas, perspective, the opposite of Humberto Ramos. So when you turn over any of his pages, he has got every possible perspective line drawn all over the place. Every panel's got 50,000 lines of perspective. That's way more than I can do.
See, that's
Yeah.
Arthur Adams too.
Yeah, I'll bet Art Adams does.
Yeah, Arthur Adams, like if you see his roughs, he was posting them online for a while, but you'll see like his perspective grid is the most filled out perspective grid. I'm fairly certain all the lines are perfectly, you know what I mean, lined up where they need to be.
Yeah, John Byrne did that too. Yeah, he uses perspective on everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Where is that book? Yeah, here. That's. In fact, he
Somebody's got
shows.
wind chimes.
Somebody's making noises there. Yeah, here's.
Sorry, I'm hungry.
Yeah, here it is.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, look at that thing.
Good.
That's John.
God.
Byrne. Yeah.
That looks like a 1970s Star Trek computer game.
I thought that was the Office for Madmen.
Yeah, it's from this book.
I don't have that one.
Bought many, many years ago.
That's crazy.
Rob bringing the receipts from the old school.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
Here,
I
Discord
couldn't go to Hubert, so I had to go to the School of Rob finding books.
School of Rob.
Yeah,
I'm
I had to
completely
teach
self-taught.
myself.
Yeah,
And
I'm
yeah, I had to be back in that day. I think the Huber School existed, but I'm in Missouri. That's halfway across the country,
Yeah, that
and money I didn't have, and so I
was
had
in
to teach
Wisconsin. I
myself.
was married with kids and a husband. There was no way I could go to the
Mhm.
Cuba school. And yeah, so a lot of us are self-taught, but that doesn't stop us from, studying other people's work and going, oh, I love the way he does that.
A
And-
little light bulb goes off. Wow,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
how you do that.
That's why I thought that for people who couldn't go to the Kubert school, hey Madness, hey Pops,
Hi, Pops.
I thought that books like How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way and those kinds of things that came out in the 70s, the 80s, and early 90s
The
were
Loomis
sort of
method.
essential tools.
Yeah.
I never had that book until like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I bought it used at a convention. I never had it. I always wanted it, but never had it.
There's another one
Yep.
that I came across. So, let's see, who's
Which one
in
is
this
it?
one?
Hold it up again. Oh, How to Draw Art.
Oh, James Van Hise, the former editor of the Rocket Splats comic collector.
Hmm.
And there's
Yeah,
also
and it's got-
there's one. Dave Gibbons did one. Denny O'Neil did one for writing. They're
Bert
all-
Hogarth.
Yeah,
Bert
Hogarth.
Hogarth. Yeah, did one. I had his.
Hogarth will tell you it's great. By the way, it's the best one.
Oh, I have some of his books too. They're
I had some
useful.
stuff from Bart
But,
Sears, Scott Campbell.
Dude, my first original lessons were the basic training in the Oh, I had that one.
Talking Bern Hogarth. There's one.
There we go. The drapery is really important
Yeah, you can see how.
because the funny thing is you can see. Oh, there you go. Pencil for Life says Adam Hughes and I share the same education, the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell some artists that need drapery lessons because when they draw their characters in regular clothes, they draw the clothes like a superhero costume.
Right.
Yeah. No,
It's
close.
like, no. People
Look,
wear their
I
clothes
mean-
differently than they wear their superhero
So-
suit.
Oh yeah.
So,
But yeah, that's so you can. I'm reaching into my library here, which is
Oh,
right next to the drawing
another
board.
one. Learn
Sometimes when I
anatomy.
run into a problem, I grab one of these and go, "Oh, that's right. It's in this book. I can learn. I can reteach myself this."
Learn anatomy. I'll give you a tip. A woman's breasts do not come perfectly round out of her collarbone.
Up to here. Yeah.
Out of her collarbone. They drape.
What a disappointment college was to me.
They
I
are
know.
generally
No, Barb, I can't
the
believe
rule
that.
of thumb is the nipples
They have
are
weight.
about halfway
They obey the
between
rules of gravity.
the
I mean,
collar and the navel is about where they fall.
what's
So-
next? Does hair move in the wind?
Nobody has helmet hair anymore.
No, I don't know.
You get these cheat sheets.
Yeah,
Those
Pencil for Life says even the fake ones, yes.
Oh,
Only,
yeah. Tell manga. I know. That's one of my
Sorry.
irritations.
yes. We'll get manga on the phone and make that point.
Yeah.
right?
I'm sure there'll
Those
be.
are great, Dave, when you're even just roughing stuff out just to try and figure out a pose. You know what I mean?
yeah. I've got bought these.
Sounds like a hurricane and an earthquake all at once here.
She sold them to me. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Did
But
you
you
give
can
yours a
see-
name?
I haven't yet, but you can see those dresses are not
Right.
way up here.
No.
They're
They're
like I said,
pendulous,
they're
like they
about
should be.
halfway between the collarbone and the
Right.
navel.
This used to be
before the-
mine.
Yeah, and
sold-
I've got them here next to the drawing board in case I
I
need
sold
them.
those to Rob.
Yeah,
Oh, here's another skill. Know how to use reference accurately.
Tommy, they do come out of the collarbone. Oh, good to know. I'm obviously a mutant then.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Javier, you want to repeat what you just said because that sounded good.
Well, I missed-
Learn how to use reference accurately.
oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Reference is there as a starting off point. You use your creativity to adjust the perspective a little, exaggerate for for content, for emotional
Right.
impact.
I love reference.
Yes.
I have files and folders on my computer of just references I just started collecting over an art school, right? But
I think-
do not just draw them the way they look. Use them as starting points.
They're reference. They're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the old days, I think Wally Wood used to have file cabinets full of things that he would
Yeah.
cut out of magazines.
Yeah, and I still got mine.
use his-
I don't even.
Nobody
use it
wants
anymore.
to be Greg Land Jr., right? So-
I got rid of all my files and files and files of reference when Google came along. So
The
Yes.
ones I still like to keep them because I don't.
Yeah.
I sometimes I honestly just disconnect from the internet, but then stop sending them to me, Tommy.
Yeah, just stop sharing.
I love references to like dressing and like clothing and like any kind of clothing I can get to try my best to get as accurate as I can.
Agent Cub wants to know who's ruffling their mic.
Somebody strangling somebody off
Mine's
camera.
in my-
What's wrong?
It's
It
not
must
me.
be.
Wow.
I'm not a
Who
mic
figured out my DJ name?
Right?
It's
DJ
David.
roughing the mic.
No, because I actually muted myself and I still heard everything going on, so I know it wasn't me.
So Dave, when you got into comics, what was the big surprise? What was the big shock? What was the thing you didn't know?
Besides the page rates.
Actually, the page rates were pretty decent at the time. I mean, I got into the Malibu coloring department, so
Mhm.
that was Marvel had taken over. It was actually pretty decent comparatively. Just how hard it was. We've talked about on our other show. It's like if you're lucky enough to get people that you know and who have some influence, like we were talking about Ron. When he first started, he got hooked up pretty early with an agent, and the agent knew a lot of people, so a lot of things worked out very well for him. But like for me, it was I didn't know anybody. Ultimately, I worked in a comic shop, and Malibu came in, so I did kind of meet a few people through that. But I went through a lot of by myself, and lot of calls on the phone, a lot of a lot of things out. Portfolios came back, thanks, but no thanks, and even with Malibu, it was a lot of well, we had the 6 slots, and which I will go back. I will tie this back to the Dave the Dave panels that he does. But yeah, a lot of there's 6 slots, and we've got 6 people right now. So try back in 6 months and whatever. So it was a lot of well, do other things. I did stuff like working in doing T-shirts in a factory outlet store or whatever. Just think of your actors and things doing busting tables and working in the restaurants, things like that, just to kind of hold out. And it took a lot of no's and a lot of that, which goes back to the Dave Ulbrich thing of one, you're going to face a lot of no's. I mean, you think about, even the great actors go in and they audition for a part and they get told no, in that industry. But you also have to realize the fact that there are only so many slots in this industry, and there are hundreds of people that want that same slot. So it's not like, hey, you've got, I'm going to go do comics, and I'm going to be in the industry in 6 months. I'll be making, $2,000 a month, within 2 years, and then I'll have my own production company. No, it doesn't work that way. There's a realism and a feeling that you have to make yourself relevant. Make yourself, people know who you are, what you're capable of, and work hard for what you do. So.
Well, I think that's a very valid point. I think what's happened is that it used to be that the comics industry was more or less local.
Yeah.
And now that it's digital, the people competing for those 6 slots are all over the world now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you have to be, used to be, you only had to be better than 100 people. Now you have to be better than like 10,000 people. And be professional and be personable and get the work done. And, but you're competing with a much wider group than it used to be in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
And your reputation is everything. I mean, if you get a reputation for always being late or being difficult to work with, that can really hurt your chances of continuing to work.
Yes, unless your work sells really, really well, which really doesn't happen anymore.
No, unless you're one of those really high superstars that they're willing to put up with that kind of bullshit.
Publishers used to forgive a lot when comics sold 1 million copies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now that doesn't happen. So.
Well,
Yeah, and that's something that brings up a point that I want to make, and which I realized early on. You don't get a big head about this, because how many people live in this country? 300 and some odd million. What's the best-selling comic? How many copies does it sell? And you're not going to work on that best-selling comic. Well, it's a fraction of the total population of the United States. So, you get on the best-selling comic book, you're still not all that famous, really. You're not all that important.
Very tiny niche industry.
It's a very tiny niche industry, so don't get big-headed about it. And I mean, at the best-selling comic that I remember working on was one of the Star Trek books, and it was selling about 60,000 copies a month. 60,000 people is what percentage of the total population of the United States?
And that's even a small percentage of Star Trek people.
Yeah. So, yeah. So don't get big-headed about it.
The Star Trek audience was like 9 million from
Try
the TV show
saying
at the
that,
time.
Rob. Try saying that to social media. It just doesn't work because on social media you can't be humble, and where nowadays social media is one of the few ways you can reach an audience that's not limited by a print run.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't be. You need to be proud of what you do. You
And
need
confident.
to have some. Yeah, you have to have confidence in yourself.
Don't be arrogant.
But don't be arrogant because you're
Yeah.
just a tiny fish in a tiny pond. Don't get overly big headed about it. But the only way you're going to get ahead is if you're confident about what you do and continue to try to improve. That's another thing about getting a big head. Well, I'm as good as I'm the best at this, and I don't have to work at it anymore. Well,
You want to live your life so that when you go to a show, you can have people to go to lunch with.
that's good. I like that. Yeah.
I think one of the things that I always point to for creators, no matter what you do, is that if you're going to get married or have a partner, that if you're the creative person, then the partner needs to have that great job with the great benefits that include spousal health care.
Yep.
And because otherwise you can't afford to stay in the business if you have to also pay for your own health care.
I am blessed in that when I finished school, my wife and I came back home to Florida and we opened a birth center. That's where she works.
Beatrice, Beatrice, that's a great point.
Right?
Yeah, even Dick's still want to work with Dick's. That's right.
Because every
I like that.
one of my co-writing partners was married to a woman who was a manager at a medical supply company. So she had a great job with great benefits. Dave Olbrich has a wife with who worked for the state, had great benefits.
Right.
It's the thing. It makes the life of it takes a lot of stress away from the freelancer if you know that your health care is covered.
And I was lucky enough to have a spouse who also did all my paperwork for me, filed all my taxes, he filled in my blanks.
Me too.
Yes.
Erased my pages, and he was
A supportive,
wind beneath my wings.
Right. A supportive partner.
Spouse.
See, and I'm also teaching my daughter to flat for me.
Extremely important. Yes, it's extremely important to have
But the thing,
your significant other be supportive
Right.
of being in this industry. Yeah.
but don't you find that kind of stuff, the Dave Sim model, Mary Wealth, but don't you find that Jose and Barb that participation it's bonding, it's sort of helpful to the relationship?
Well, it's 45 years now, so I guess so.
Right.
And Jose, you're having father-daughter time by teaching her how to flat.
I am. And well, my daughter already taught herself how to draw digitally, but I asked her, like, hey, you want to learn how to flat? Like, I'll pay you for it because I need to have flats done so I can do renders and get it done faster. And she's like, yeah, that's cool. So I showed her how to do it. And she's still learning to get fast or better at it, but practice is perfect. You know what I mean?
Stephen Butler and his daughter share a studio, and they cross-pollinate their work together, and you can see when they're on camera together, they have a great relationship, a great rapport.
Yeah, it makes for a better relationship,
Right.
definitely.
Because the other way is terrible.
But like, so on the
Did you just criticize
I
my
have an
marriage here,
ex-spouse.
dude? What's going on?
I also have an ex-spouse.
me, my wife and I, like, she takes care of the business, and you know what I mean, that's basically the primary income for our home. But the trade-off to that is, yes, I get to sit at home and work on artwork forever, right, as long as I want. But I am also the one that picks up the kids in the afternoon, and on the office days, I'm the one that makes dinner.
Share some of the responsibilities.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I take care of house
It
stuff.
can't be a one-way street.
Right.
No.
Like you have to have a plan. You have to have a system. Like when my wife first got her midwifery license, it was a cluster here, you know what I mean, at the Fuentes home, because we had no clue how to navigate that, because there'd be times like last night she took off at 2 a.m. to go to a birth. I didn't see her again until 8 o'clock this evening.
Right.
So you were a single parent while she was doing
Right. That means I had to go to bed at I think I ended up going to bed at like 3 o'clock. I had to wake up at 6 in the morning to get my daughter up so she can go her last day of school today. You know what I mean? And then my 18-year-old daughter who is doing flats for me, she made dinner tonight. You know what I mean? So like it is a team effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
You're
And
running a sports team.
since you have the flexible schedule, like I did, you do all the running,
Yep.
Run the kids to school, doctor's appointments, and blah 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 blah.
Cooking food.
And then you find your drawing time or your creative time within that schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes that's till 2 a.m, but if that's what it takes to
Always
make the
till 2
deadline,
because
that's what happens.
there are constants in that relationship that don't change. This is when school starts. This is when school gets out. This is when, dinner is served. This is when homework has to be done. This is whatever. And so you have to just find the slot. Like Rob, I know you had a job, a day job that had specific hours where you had to be at a place, and then you could draw in the between times.
Right. Yeah. I actually, when I first was working at Malibu, or it was Eternity at the time, I actually drove a school bus in the morning, and we were done by noon, or done by 10 o'clock, and then the next batch of the next time you pick up students is 4 or 5 hours later. So you've got that 4 or 5 hour period where you can do whatever you want. So I'd go back home and draw or do whatever. So yeah, that was the extra income that helped keep us afloat. Especially for a while there, my wife was going to school to become a teacher, and so that was rough because she was working part time, I was working part time. We were trying to get by on that and the comic book income, which was not necessarily steady.
No.
You get a contract for 3 or 4 issues or something, and then there's nothing for a while, and so you're that's one of the things too, is you have to constantly be looking for the next job.
Yeah, that's
if you're
tiresome.
a freelancer.
Yeah, even
It is very
so
it's very
tiresome.
that's a good point too, because even when you have a job, you need to be looking for
The next one.
You have two jobs. You have the job you have to do, and then you have to go looking for the next job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And
you're
unless
always
you're
networking,
lucky,
you're always talking to people, you're always figuring out what's going on.
unless you're lucky enough to land a contract. I had 2.5 years where I was contracted to work on Impulse for DC, and that was awesome. But I could do 2 books a month, so that I was still shilling for that extra book.
Yes.
So I was, even though I had a contract, I was still promoting myself for the second book that I could do a month.
Right.
So it is exhausting. One of the least favorite things to do is to try to pimp yourself out all the time, constantly. Hi, look at me, I'm great.
If you're really lucky, that spouse you found, that significant other is actually good at that sort of thing. They're the one that they can be essentially your agent doing all this stuff. I knew a couple of artists where their wives were the
God,
agent.
I would have loved that.
I actually enjoy the
they
part.
were lucky.
That makes me the outlier, I guess.
What are some of the other things that Dave has said that we have not covered?
Well, he says that you have to put a clock on your creativity.
Yeah.
Which is basically if it takes me this long to draw a page, and without hurting myself, then can I do that every day to get a book out? And so you have to time yourself. You have
to know when to quit. When you're working, you can work a page to death.
Yes.
But you have to know when it's good enough. When it's good, you get to that point where I can work this page some more and make it that much better, but I got to move on to the next page. And that also brings up something that I've noticed in some artists when they get a book, and they will jump from page 2, page 20, to page 5. They'll jump all around the book. And I'm going, how do you keep track of where you...
Like in regards to pencils?
Yeah, they'll pencil page 5, and then they'll jump back and go 2, and they'll jump all around.
I'd have to do it in order.
Crazy.
That's
they'll
crazy.
do all the pages. Well, but that's I'm doing all the stuff that I like doing first. No, your best way to do, if you're going to jump around in there, go to the stuff that you like the least. Get that stuff knocked out, because then then you don't. Then you've got the stuff that you enjoy doing, and that stuff will come much quicker.
Right.
But the best way to do it, especially if you're trying to make a monthly deadline, is start at page 1 and work your way to the last page. Then you know, okay, I'm on page 5. I've got this many pages left to do. So you know where you are
Right.
in the book, how much you've got left that you have to complete.
I'll be honest, I do that for pencils, like page consecutive all the way through, because otherwise I feel I'm gonna like do something over here, like, oh, he wouldn't have hit that, like, even though the page, like, somewhere my brain will mess up the flow. But when I'm inking, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, and that drives me bonkers. But I ink my own work. I
beginning to end.
I do I go through, read the script, then do the thumbnails, then I come back and start at page 1, pencil it, ink it, letter it, move on to the next page. Boom. So,
When you eat your Lucky Charms, you save the marshmallows for last. That's exactly right. That's why ice cream is dessert.
yeah.
That's right.
So
You guys with your fancy
I
breakfasts.
grew up on King Vitamin.
King Vitamin.
Any other
You were
words?
poor growing up, dude.
Pearls of wisdom from the great Dave?
Yes.
love
So
Dave.
one of the things is that if you're an artist and you do everything digitally, then you don't have any secondary art to sell.
That is a
Yeah.
problem.
And so if you're a secondary income for most artists was always selling the original pages.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing
I have
everything, I
physical
know that
work-
Floramonti
physical stuff.
talks about this before. He does the prettiest pages the old-fashioned way on paper so he can sell them.
Mhm.
And then he does other pages digitally
Digitally.
Mm-hmm.
because most artists don't sell all 22 pages of a comic book.
Seldom,
Now, if you're
yeah.
like me, I physically inked up until I turned 60, and then I wasn't able to physically ink anymore because of my eyes and my hands, and I had to switch to digital because of that. But I still have a backstock
Right.
of original art that I'm still selling.
You
So-
still take those to shows?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I just sold a really, really nice piece this past weekend that was a very first customer that came to my booth actually bought a very, very nice piece. It was
Do you
pretty
find that
cool.
people like seeing it in the original?
Yes. They like to study it,
Right.
you know.
Uh-huh.
And they'll say, what kind of pen did you use? And I'm like, I'm old school, it's all brush.
But
Yeah.
that's
What?
but isn't that's part of the, like, if you're an artist and you're using books for reference and you're studying comics for reference and stuff, seeing original art and seeing how other artists do their stuff, I think is
Mhm.
very helpful. Like
Extremely helpful.
I saw a bunch of Ditko pages in one of the Marvel exhibits that travels around, and Ditko was very lightly penciling. Almost all of his work is inks.
Yeah.
And it's so light and so loose that you can't really see the line. It's so faint. Almost everything comes from the brush.
Jesus.
That's crazy too. That's wild to me.
I mean,
It's
he's the
amazing.
king
He
of-
had such
king of
confidence in
the
himself.
war. Yeah,
Right?
he's like the king
Listen,
of the war.
I've seen Dan Fraga, and he'll just go straight to brush pen and just start pinning in the figures. I'm just like, that's how, like
I have
how,
I have to have a skeleton to
right?
put everything on first. I do a gesture drawing. You artists know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
There's a gesture, and then you tighten it into a figure or
Yeah.
whatever it is you're drawing.
Simonson does that too.
So-
Simonson
Yeah.
does a
Yeah.
gesture drawing, and it basically looks like somebody spilled a spaghetti of lines on the page,
Yes.
and then it
yeah.
slowly
Those-
transforms
the
into a Simonson
wire.
drawing.
If you're doing a 3D, it's like the wire framing you make.
Sometimes,
the
yeah.
model. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I do my whatnot shows, I always I'm talking to chat and telling them, hey, listen, trust the process. I promise it'll look better in the end.
Javier, what about you?
What did I learn getting into this business? Big John Buscema was not kidding when he said you need to be able to draw everything you see. That table, that lamp, that baseball, that car,
Horses.
that room, that door, that hinge, that little socket on the wall, your slippers, different hairdressers, a sofa, all the stuff that sounds boring to draw is absolutely essential in telling a story, which really separates the pinup artist from sequentials.
Right.
You can use the same body pose multiple times for different characters, reverse it a little, right? Adjust the hip a little, and okay, you got another pinup. Big deal. But when you got to draw the same face 20 times over 6 pages, you got to make every panel interesting. Art and work. It's both.
Yeah.
That is solid advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, before we close this out, because our hour is fast approaching, does anybody want to add some final thoughts?
Make your deadlines.
Make sure you have sequential pages when you turn in a portfolio. I mean, you're working in the sequential page format, comic book.
I've had so many kids come to my table with just pinups, and I'm going, this doesn't tell me how you tell a story.
Right.
You need to put together pages with sequential artwork in them, and I get this blank stare,
which is amazing to me because the internet is a thing that exists, and you could just say, "We'll tell you what you should do."
Yeah. I knew that before I went to art school because of the internet.
Yeah, I may not have been the best inker out there. I know I'm not the best inker out there. I'm a good inker. I'm a consistent inker, but I always made my deadlines, and that made me more employable.
Why editors loved you, because they knew
you meet all 3 criteria. Yeah, I would say. I mean, you're a great inker. You're not just a good inker. You're a great inker. You meet your deadlines, and you're personable. You're fun to talk to, and you can talk to you about stuff that's not just the work.
Oh God.
So there, and I feel the same way about Rob because I've known Rob for 30 some odd years. I'm feeling that way about Jose, even though we just met like a year ago.
Right.
I just met Javier like a month ago, and Rios I've known since the Malibu days, '93. Although there's long gaps in our Hey Dave, Hey Tom.
Yeah, we used to have telephone calls every once in a while, Tom and I. We didn't always talk about business. We talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, what are you watching? What are you seeing? What are you? What's going on? Because the thing is, I don't know if you've ever met people who just want to talk about the work. It's like, no, the work is the work. Just
we got that stuff out of the way first, though.
Yes, is a hot dog a sandwich?
A taco is a sandwich.
I got something for the newbies, for anybody coming into this field.
All right, close it out then.
Your materials and supplies don't need to be top notch. They don't. But they can't be bottom barrel either. Okay? If you're going to show off your work, it can't be on, a note paper ripped off from your spiral bound thing.
You can start with just
this. You're gonna have to invest in some kind of quality paper and some kind of quality utensils, a pencil, and a decent ink. Don't go too crazy on buying the $40 brush when you're just first starting off. You need to master these essentials before you start figuring out, okay, where do I spend my money on the quality paper and the quality tools of our trade? But we have quite a few. The price points varies. Amazon is great. You can get really good supplies that way from other countries. And it is all about, at the beginning, it's all about, that economy of effort. You want to get your productivity high. Like you mentioned before, Thomas, if it takes you 6 months to do 4 pages, you're not employable. You might be a great visual artist, but you're not employable for monthly comics or even bi-monthly comics.
Yes.
So if that's where you want to go, then you know what? It's better if you have 10 pages done in 2 months than if you have 20 pages done over 4 years. Publishers can't use the second; they will definitely use the first.
Yeah, and I remember that in his later years, Gil Kane switched to using a Flair pen.
Yes,
for his inks because it was fast.
Wow. A Flair pen,
not archival.
If you see his original art from the '90s, it starts to fade over time because he did it and he was drawing for reproduction.
The ink in a Flair pen is garbage.
Yeah.
And it only needs to be reproduced. You take it, they take it, and they shoot it at the printing company, and then boom.
Yeah, it only has to exist for that 10-minute period where they're shooting it and turning it into film.
So
back in those days.
It doesn't have to be. Yeah, and I use to fill in blacks.
Oh,
that's right. The fat Sharpie.
Oh, you're
I saw a little bit,
I know,
Rob.
it probably drives Barb nuts.
Right?
Because you're just using it for reproduction.
That's what I use.
Yeah, and then I when I scan it in, I up the contrast so it darkens a little better.
I know, but that fan who buys that page 10 years from now is going to like, that thing, it's
To look
faded.
green.
Rob's already moved on.
All right.
All right, everybody. Great show. Great having you on. Rob, Javier, Jose, Barb, David, thanks for contributing. Thanks for
And the
participating. It's always good to see
for
It's
having
good to
me
see all
on.
of you. And
Wednesday
Barb will
Whammers.
be back next week.
No, I will not be back.
No, you're gone.
I'm gone next 2 weeks.
All right, there'll be another guest host next week.
And
Maybe
as
Rob.
we like to say on the Wednesday Wham, the Whammers know what this is. Make mine Silverline.
Silverline.
Good night, everyone.
Hey, heroes, cosplayers, and pop culture fans. Are you ready to assemble for the ultimate geek weekend? The Hall of Heroes Comic-Con is invading Elkhart, Indiana with 2 explosive days of comics, stars, and non-stop fun. Join us Saturday, May 30th and Sunday, May 31st, 2026 at the Northern Indiana Event Center in Elkhart. Doors open at 10 a.m. both days. VIP early entry at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. We're rolling out a massive lineup of legends. Meet Eric Estrada from Chips and Fallout, Dirk Benedict from the A-Team and Battlestar Galactica, Tara Reid from American Pie and Sharknado, Catherine Cavadini, voice of Blossom from the Powerpuff Girls, Kel Mitchell from All That, Kevin and Kel and Mystery Men, horror icon Tony Moran, the original Michael Myers in Halloween, and more. Plus, top comic artists including Arthur Sidum, Marvel Zombies and Deadpool, John Kramer from Batman and Wonder Woman, Keith Pollard, a legendary Marvel artist on Spider-Man and Thor, and more. Scott Rosama, Stuart Sager, and others. Get autographs, photo ops, and chats with the stars and creators who shaped your favorites. The floor is packed with over 150 vendors, artists, and cosplayers offering exclusive comics, collectibles, original art, and merch. Enjoy cosplay contests for kids and adults with great prizes, live Q&A panels, artist showcases, interactive zones, and family-friendly fun all weekend. And the excitement goes live. Madness Entertainment Group is broadcasting straight from the con floor all weekend on YouTube, Build, and Rumble. Catch every moment as it happens, then relive it anytime with the full shows available later on Med TV on Roku. Grab your tickets today at hohcomiccon.org. Hall of Heroes Comic-Con, May 30th and 31st, 2026. Northern Indiana Event Center, Elkhart, Indiana. We'll see you there, heroes. This ad was created by Nim on behalf of Madness Entertainment Group and Hall of Heroes Comic-Con.
Hi, I'm John Beatty. Make mine Silverline.